I'm hot, and I don't care how I look. I'm Anusha, and if you don't know me, I'm a vlogger apparently, but not a good one, because if you saw what is under here, you would be so disappointed in me. When I started off my blog journey in 2017, the person who was in charge basically gave me a bunch of notes, and most of the notes were, your vloggers are great, you need to tidy your room. Well, look at me now. Got my 50 subscribers and my room's a fucking mess. Which, by the way, thank you for 50 subscribers. I really appreciate that. So, today, this is the second episode of Anusha's Muse. However, this episode is going to feature sexual violence. So, if that is not for you, then skip it. TLDR or TLDW. This video is about Fiona Apple and what she means to me as a black woman or as a black person. So let's start off. I'm going to give you a bit of background about Fiona Apple. If you don't know who she is, needn't worry, is why I'm here. She's like a singer-songwriter. Think Tori Amos, thinks, I guess, Florence and the Machine, but less drama, more storytelling. She started piano, which is quite important to the story, when she was 8 years old, and then songwriting when she was 11. She started songwriting to, like, basically, if there was, like, an argument in the house, because she grew up in quite a dysfunctional household, she would go and just, like, start banging on keys and writing lyrics to songs and things like that. And I find that when I heard of that, when I realised that was what inspired her creativity, that was thing number one that drew me to Fiona Apple, because I did the exact same thing. And this is not me, again, comparing myself to musicians and being like, oh, Anusha, she's so fabulous. No, this is, it just, I too grew up in a dysfunctional household. We put the funk in dysfunctional. I used to go up in my room and just write, like, sometimes sing, but just mostly write. And writing is such a huge hobby of mine. Like, if I wasn't a songwriter, I would just become a writer, just because I love putting words to paper. And I think, and Fiona also talks about this, like, it was almost like letters. They would be like letters to people. She talks about one of her songs being a letter to her parents. When she couldn't really talk to them, she would, write to them. She suffered from a lot of bullying as a kid, because I think a lot of, like, kids back in the day, I think because they saw her as weird, and again, I guess if you come from a dysfunctional family, kids see that and they're like, oh, someone to pick on, someone who's lesser than. They get taught that by adults, but I ain't gonna get into the whole politics of bullying. So she got bullied quite young, and she also got sexually assaulted and, like, raped outside of her apartment when she was 12 years old. And I didn't know this about her, but I will get into why this was so, like, meant a lot to me. Let's just say that. She was obviously suffering from depression and just kind of lost as a child. She kept writing, kept doing the piano stuff, and essentially gave a demo to someone. They gave it to important person. Important person said, yes, we shall sign her. She is good. The end. That's the end of the video. No, but that's it. I ain't going into her whole backstory, but I'm going to the important things. So, if you watch early videos of Fiona Apple, she looks so inexperienced, but you wouldn't guess it on first watch. Like, after hearing that she had never performed live before, you watch and you're like, oh yeah, you look like you don't know what you're doing. But at the same time, she just is in her own, like, element. Like, she just was always someone that just, I go with feeling rather than I go with what people tell me to do. And I really enjoy her early performances. They just feel raw. And I'm not the type of person that's like, oh my God, it has to be authentic. I just again, I keep doing this thing where I go on tangents. I don't want to go on tangents because the video becomes long and I've got to edit this. But no, I'm not the type of person that is like, oh, the performance has to be raw to be authentic. That's not me. I think that's a conversation for another day. But for me, I just enjoy her type of performance. Her type of performance. Anyway. But what I didn't know, because in 1998 I was born, I didn't know that people considered her a brat. Like, Fiona Apple, when I first hear of her, it's almost like, oh, a tour, like the person that sings and tells you stories and is, like, really emotional. I don't get brat of her. And when I watched early videos, I didn't get brat. But apparently, men called her bratty. They said, oh, this white woman or white young girl doesn't know what she's talking about. It's too adult. It's too da-da-da. And I'm sorry, but if you've been sexually assaulted at 12 years old, what the fuck do you think you're going to write about? There was a particular incident of the MTV Awards where she said, life is shit, as she quoted Maya Angelou, and apparently that was like the worst thing that happened since sliced bread, which I find quite interesting because you quote a black woman and suddenly things are bad. You see where I'm going with this. Fiona's early career was just predatory, and I think she responded to that with her second album, When the Porn, insert things here, and you can hear it. The whole album, her second album, she wrote as a response to everybody who had something to say about her. And the second album, to be honest, also, it feels like it's like, obviously it's for those people to say, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want. But it also just feels like a response, like, to herself. It feels like something that she needed to say. And you just hear it. And the song that inspired me to write Burden was Get Gone. That was literally the song I heard. I was like, I'm going to write a song like this. It didn't end up like Get Gone, but that was the starting point. It was like, I want to capture that sort of anger or whatever feeling I'm feeling, I just want to write it down. Because, yeah, it just sounds angry. And it's funny because I say I'm a lyricist, but I don't always listen to lyrics when I listen to songs. And the lyrics to Get Gone are about someone who's in a toxic relationship, and the other person, just doesn't get why they're being called toxic. And when I tell you that is the exact, like, situation that inspired Burden, I was like, whoa. But for some reason, I just didn't get why that song clicked with me. Hold on, let me read some lyrics quickly before it cuts. It says, how can I deal with this if he won't get with this? Am I gonna heal from this? He won't admit to it. Nothing to figure out. I gotta get him out. Gotta get him out. As an aside, I don't know where the fucking camera turned off, so let me just dab my sweat. And I'm just gonna go from where I assume it stopped. Damn, I need a video camera. Anyway, it's hard to exhibit anger in a song, and very few artists can do it that can capture an audience. Insert evil man here. Oh my God, evil, but he wanted to be the black version of Fiona Apple because he said he heard her album and was just like mesmerized. And Quentin Tarantino, another evil man, even said that all her lyrics just sound like violent. Like, this woman sounds like she's gonna hit me. And you'd be right to be scared, Quentin. Fiona's lyrics do sound like that. They do sound like anger. Like pure anger. Like, I could imagine singing a Fiona Apple song and then just jumping off the stage and hitting someone. Like, That is Fiona Apple. It is just pure anger. And I think a lot of people don't understand an angry woman for several reasons. They don't understand... Actually, let me rephrase that. They don't understand angry, marginalised people because they put marginalised people in stereotypical boxes that we are supposed to adhere to, and especially because the music industry is just an extension of minstrelsy. I will put the thing in the notes, ain't explaining too much. So, like, you think about, like, every black artist has to adhere to a stereotype in order to be successful. Like, that's, to be honest, not even a controversial opinion, but I think it extends further to, like, a lot of artists have to perform in a certain way in society, but as well as in the music industry, because the music industry is just a copy of society, in order to be seen by the executives, the institutional people, and to be seen as successful. And I think Fiona Apple, especially because she was a very skinny white woman who, like, eating disorder community sort of idolized her because they were like, yeah, we want to go towards that kind of person, even though she was suffering. Like, they expected her to be a certain sort of person, and she wasn't. And I think a lot of people were confused by it. And I think it's when I've said before, and I said this to my friend Hillary, and I'm going to say it again, is that I don't think it's just performing desire, shout out to Deshawn, that's the issue. It's when you're desirable but you don't perform it in a way that you should, then you have a problem. Same way as, like, if you're undesirable and you don't perform desire, or you don't even look like you're chasing desire, becomes a problem. It's a problem for society. Let's leave it there, because we could get too deep, and I've got other deep conversations to get into this video. To kind of go on from that, in 2010, you remember when Lana Del Rey, came out, and I'm not even gonna be ashamed to admit it, I did love her. Like, I did love Lana Del Rey when she came out. I love the whole sort of, oh my god, I'm sad and all this kind of stuff. Even though some songs were very anti-feminist, and I thought that was a weird choice. But I really did love that sad girl era. However, it didn't really... Again, I never really came out and said, oh, I really like Lana Del Rey on a public platform. Because people just look at that sort of persona and they see white girls. And that's not to say that there aren't sad girl black musicians. And I say sad girl or sad boy in quotations because, it's a genre rather than, an actual person. But, there have been, sad black musicians, but they just don't have the same protection as white people. And I think, and I want to bring up a certain conversation that I remember so vividly as a kid, and it was a joke at the time, but as I've gotten older, I just hate it. And it was about Mary J. Blige, who, if you're black, you would probably agree that she makes really good sad girl music. Then, I think it was 2007, 8, question mark, she released an album and the first song was just fine. And a lot of people were like, oh, damn, the music's gotten shit because she's happy. And I'm like, bro, one, how dare you? But also, you are, doting on a black woman to be sad so that you can get good music. What? But I think that's a lot of black artists who sort of bear their souls in their music. They almost become more of a commodity and there's less protections around them. Another artist I can think of is Billie Holiday, who legit got killed for it. She talks about the death of black people being lynched on the street, and the government said, nah, bruv, you're out. And why do I become so British when I talk about these things? Anyway, but Yeah, and as much as people could debate about it, whatever, she's still dead, is the point. She didn't get protected by whoever killed her. She's dead. That's when I say, like, I don't think black marginalised people just get to be sad. Because if we are publicly sad, or if we are publicly sort of going back to Fiona Apple, if we kind of bare our souls in the way that she would, the public will react differently. Especially if you want to even go down this route. Like, you think about the ableism that came to slavery. Like, if you had, like, someone who was acting manically, you'd be like, oh, that's the wearing nigga. Oh, my God, time to die. You get it with, like, the crack epidemic. Like, anyone that was acting differently, it was like, oh, no, time to die. In 2020, yeah, now, Eric Adams is basically saying that anybody that isn't acting appropriate, what's appropriateness, in mainstream society and needs medical attention will just get institutionalized. There's a through line here, people. And so going back to music, like, it's sometimes not safe to be totally sad. As it pertains to me, like, my first single was about sexual abuse. From a teacher who was just wildly inappropriate, and that was the first song I wrote. Don't know why I made it my first single, but whatever. Point being is that I actually toned that song down a lot, because I was like, if I am too blunt, no one's going to listen to me. And to be quite honest, it's probably one of my lowest performing songs out of the 3 songs that I have. It's one of my lowest performing songs because of the subject matter. When I learn about Fiona Apple and I learn about her, I'm trying not to cry. I'm so sorry. I just could relate. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I could relate. She made me feel safe to be openly sad. And I think that is so beautiful. Like, as an artist, you can make someone feel safe to express emotion. That's well done. You've done your job. And I want to write about sad shit. I want to write about sad shit because I am quite a sad person. Even though I can be funny and I know I'm a funny person, I do get really sad. I want to read something that I wrote when I first heard that Fiona Apple got sexually assaulted as a kid. It says, "You're a predator, aren't you, baby? I know you want to take a bite. You can smell the blood, baby. Kiss me and see me cry. You shower me with words that everyone has heard. The touch of our breasts is just instructed by the whispers of men." Alright, that got a bit deep. And the recording this has been hell. So thank you for watching this video, if you made it to the end. My name is Anusha. I have a single called Burden that's coming out on July the 21st. Please pre-save it. I hope this video is out by July 21st, but if not, my single is already out, so go listen to it. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the support. Like 50 subscribers. With the stuff that I talk about and the uncensoring that I do with a lot of my stuff, I know that I'm not made for YouTube and I'm not made for the social platforms. I get it. I don't really care because this is my platform and I get to talk about what the fuck I want to. But the fact that there's 50 of you, like 50 of you in a room, that would be a COVID unsafe room, which is bad in real life. But that's great on YouTube. So thank you for watching. I already talked about Fiona Apple.